After 2 decades, Recep Tayyip Erdogan got a big setback. Turkey's main opposition party claimed victory in Istanbul and Ankara in local elections, inflicting the biggest defeat on President Erdogan and his Justice and Development Party. With more than 95% of ballot boxes opened in Istanbul on Sunday, Mayor Imamoglu of the Republican People's Party said that he defeated the governing AK party candidate by more than 1 million votes. If we just rewind a few years, Erdogan's defeat would almost look impossible in Turkey. It was this golden vision of bringing back the glory of Turkey, the grandeur of Ottoman Empire that grew to be one of the most powerful states in the world during the 15th and 16th century, and becoming the Khalifa again, that was sold to the people by Erdogan in 2014 when he became the president of Turkey. And it did seem to be falling in line when Erdogan celebrated the Islamic New Year with aplomb. Fresh off his conversion of the monuments like Hagia Sophia to a mosque, he converted another former Byzantine church, the 4th century Chora Church, one of the Istanbul's oldest Byzantine structure. The day after that, he announced the largest ever natural gas depository in the Black Sea. This followed with another discovery of natural gas fields in the Eastern Mediterranean. Both of these areas are hotly contested zones of international competition between the powers around the sea. Later that week, he welcomed the delegation of Hamas to Ankara, where he expressed support for Palestine in 2021. All of these moves projected Erdogan's vision of Islamic strength into the world. But Sunday's vote shattered his dream of resurrection and brought the president on the hard ground. Turkish media reported that this surprising outcome was the result of voters wanting to punish the governing party over the state of economy and described the elections as a watershed for Imamoglu. Erdogan was not the candidate in this election, but the vote was largely seen as a test of whether the AK party could win back the cities they lost in 2019. Erdogan's image of an iconic personality in and around Middle East is now completely shattered. This defeat has brought forward crude hypocrisy of supporting Palestine, funding Hamas, but still doing business with Israel. Sunday's vote took place amid an economic downturn that continued despite Erdogan's apparent shift towards more mainstream economic policies after his re-election in May. Inflation in Turkey remains high and lira continues to plummet. Official figures show prices rose 70% in February compared to this last year. The window dressing of central bank personnel changes and reforms has failed. Corruption is at its zenith. Turkish currency continues to a steady slide of nothingness and unemployment keeps rising. It is against this backdrop that Erdogan might embrace irredentism, a situation where he would go length to restore his situation. Simply put, Erdogan might resort to a war. War might serve as a distraction from his dwindling economy and a chance to invite the rhetorics. Amid the Hamas-Israel war, Turkish warplanes and drones bombarded northern Syria to eradicate the region's industrial infrastructure of Kurdish regions and consolidate Turkish military over the occupied districts. Erdogan has also augmented his occupation of northern Cyprus and he continues to challenge Greek sovereignty over the Asian islands. Now he signals plans to occupy Gara Mountains to enable a transit corridor from the Persian Gulf through Iraq to Turkey and Europe. Some even goes to an extent of saying that to keep the dreams of Ottoman Empire alive, he might attack Israel. Now, what does all this mean for India? With the coming Erdogan 2 decades ago, India saw an increasing articulation of Turkey's stand on Kashmir issue. Erdogan has never failed to add his voice of support whenever issue comes up internationally, mainly to build his status of an Islamic leader. His support for Pakistan is historic. For Turkey, Pakistan has always been a brother. But on the other hand, India-Turkey trade has been buoyant. Bilateral trade has increased 14% year on year, driven primarily on the higher crude petrol imports from Russia routed through Turkey, and all because Turkish lira fell by 30% and it became export haven for us. Meanwhile, Indian tourists are flocking the markets of Turkey and making most of their depreciated currency. With the current weakened hold, Erdogan might even act nice globally. So it seems there won't be much change in Turkey's policies towards India after all till the next election of 2028.